I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The number one thing that keeps people our age awake at night is not, will I get lonely on the road? It's, will I run out of money? We have this nightmare scenario playing a loop in our heads. Being stuck in a foreign country, thousands of miles from home, staring at an empty bank account. So what does most people do when they panic sets in? They try to learn TikTok dance, or they buy some get-rich-quick dropship course from a kid who hasn't even started shaving yet. Stop it! You do not need new tricks. You have 30 years of experience sitting in your brain. That is your gold mine, my friend. You just need to dig it out. Welcome to Module 3, Global Business Mastery. Today, we are building the economic sustainability leg of your freedom triangle. We're going to turn your second act into a mobile income stream. If you're an over 50 digital nomad, aka silver nomad, you're not looking for an entry-level remote job. If you take a job where you trade time for money, you're just building a new cage in a nicer location. You need to shift that thinking. You're no longer an employee. You're an elite consultant selling solutions. Before you try to sell anything, you need to know what you actually have. I use a method called the Venn Diagram of Joy, and I want to share that with you today. First, go to a coffee shop. Leave the laptop at home, all right? Take a physical notebook and start writing down a resume dump, or even what I call a job that you held last 3 decades or so. We don't need details here. We just need what jobs and tasks did you perform. Look at the list. You're going to hate half of those skills, maybe more. But the great thing is that when you look at it and you see Excel spreadsheet, but looking at one of them makes you throw up, that is a giant flashing do not enter sign. So draw 2 circles. One for things that I am good at, and one for things that bring me joy. We're only interested in the overlap. If you hate doing it, don't build a business around. The goal here is freedom. Remember that. Once you have your skills, you have 3 lanes to go. Be careful on one of them. One of them is a trap. Lane 1 is the remote worker. This, my friend, to me is a trap. Why? It sounds safe, right? But data shows remote workers often work more hours than office workers because they are terrified of looking like they're slacking. You didn't travel halfway across the globe to stare at a Zoom screen for 10 hours a day, did ya? Lane number 2 is the YouTuber or the agency route. I love the ambition, but let's be real. Starting something that you have never done before is going to take you some time. Not that you can't, you can of course, but on average I've seen that it takes about 18 months to monetize a YouTube channel. Can you survive? The question is, can you survive 18 months with 0 income? If not, don't even start there. Then is lane number 3, the consultant. This is the sweet spot. This is how you monetize from day one. Let me tell you how I know this works. I want to take you back to 2008. Back then, I was the Ricky Ricardo of real estate. I had $8 million in projects, yes, with an tied up in properties. I was on top of the world. And then the planetary black hole opened up. That fat lady did not sing. She smashed a guitar over my head. I watched my fortune evaporate, get wiped out over agonizing years. The real estate door, slam shut. The finance door, boarded up. I felt like a dinosaur watching that meteor coming down. So I drew my Venn diagram. Real estate on fire. Finance impossible. But engineering? I remember that I was once an engineer. I told myself, what the heck, nothing is working. Let me dust off my engineering hat and see what happened. I used LinkedIn and DM my contacts to look for projects, a referral, or even a prayer. Long story short, a referral opened up in Mexico City. Not as a guru, but as a guy who solved problems. I helped a distributor install an energy efficient system, and I just did the math. They couldn't do it. That led to another referral. Hey, Elmer knows how to fix things. Suddenly, I was consulting on automation. Then, years later, I was implementing the Odoo software. I wasn't chasing likes on Instagram. I was calling old and new friends and solving pain points and getting paid for it. That's when the cash flow started flowing. Here's the lesson, my friend. Don't market yourself as a general expert. Identify the single most painful problems your clients faces and be the person who can solve it. I know you have many skills, many stories, and many scars, but you got to pick a lane to get on it. This is the next thing. Stop the hourly billing. Price per project. If you can fix a $50,000 problem in 5 hours because you have the 30 years experience, you get paid for the value, not the minutes. And by the way, this is what I call a mind trap. You need to believe that you should be paid according to the problems that you solve. Your clients know that, so stick it in your head. Eventually, you want to stop trading time entirely. Look at your history. Find the joy. Beef up your LinkedIn profile and pick up the phone. Now, you know how to make money, right? There is also another product that you will create. That is called the evergreen product model. When I kept explaining the same auto concepts to my clients, I start recording them. And then what I do is I turn those videos into courses. And that, my friend, is another way to make money while I sleep. But before you go and book that ticket, we have to talk about the unsexy stuff now. The boring stuff. We're not done yet. You're running a borderless business. Keep that in mind. But here is a big problem. Once that money hits your bank account, there's another partner waiting to take a massive chunk out of it. The IRS. You build the engine, but do you know how to fuel it without leaking 40% into taxes? I know. You didn't start a borderless business to worry about paperwork. I know how it feels. You started it for the freedom. But here's the hard truth. I've learned over the years, you cannot have total freedom without total security. It's experience. If you're running a business that spans borders, you need to treat it like a serious operation. If you don't, you're building an asset. You're not building an asset, you're building a liability. So let's dismantle the risk. We're going to cover 3 pillars that keep your dream from turning into a legal nightmare. Entity, contracts, and insurance. I know it's not sexy. First, running up, let's talk about entity setup. If you're still operating as a sole proprietor, basically you're doing business under your own name. You need to stop that. Here's the why. It's about something lawyers call the corporate veil. And I know I got stories about that. Without a legal entity, you are the business. If the business gets sued, you get sued. They come for your personal savings, your car, and your travel funds. So what do you need? For most of us, this means an LLC, a limited liability company. Think of an LLC as a fortress. It separates church and state. It puts a wall between your personal life and your business risks. Plus, it simplifies your taxes by letting you deduct legitimate business expenses, laptops, software, maybe even co-working spaces in different countries. So keep that in mind. The how? It's never been easier nowadays. You don't need a fancy retainer lawyer yet. Look at services like Stripe Atlas or basic legal formation sites like Wyoming Agent. Get your EIN, open a dedicated business account, and never ever mix your personal lunch money with your business revenue. Keep that veil intact. Moving on to pillar number 2, the ironclad contracts. I have a rule, and I want you to adopt it. I don't care if the client is your best friend or a family member. You don't start working without a signed agreement. Here is the why. The biggest enemy of the digital nomad is not bad Wi-Fi. It's a scope creep. That's when just one quick fix turns into 10 hours of unpaid contract. A contract manages expectation. It protects your time, which is the most valuable asset here, especially on the road. So keep it there. What do you need it? You need a master service agreement or a clear statement of work. It needs to say 3 things. What are you doing? What you're not doing? And exactly when you get paid. How now? Stop doing handshake deals over email. Send the document, get the signature. It signals the clients that you're a professional, not just have a hobby. Again, I use Odoo and it handles all aspects of my business. Finally, pillar number 3, the one everyone forgets, insurance, specifically professional liability insurance. Why? Simple, better sleep. You're working across time zones, right? Mistakes happen. Maybe a misinterpret email, a missed deadline that cost the clients money, or an accidental copyright issue. In the Western world, people sue. You know that. Insurance guards your nest egg so you can sleep soundly in Tokyo, New York, or Bali. What are you looking for? It is often called errors and omission, E&O insurance. It covers you if a client claims your work cost them a financial loss. How? It's quick. You can get a policy online about 10 minutes from providers like Hiscox or Next Insurance. It is a small monthly cost for the total peace of mind. Now, before I sign off, a reality check. I'm your guide, but I am not your lawyer or your CPA. To truly master this, you need to build your own board of advisors. Once you have the revenue coming in, pay the consultation fees. Talk to tax strategies. Talk to a business attorney. They are the ones who will help you keep it legal, keep you protected, and most importantly, keep the tax man away from the money that legally belongs to your pocket. Build a structure, and the structure will support your freedom. In the next video, we will talk about the applied wisdom mindset. Here, we're going to take your decades of experience, your crisis management, your leadership, your ability to read people, your negotiation skills, and we're simply going to filter them through a new lens, all right? The tools change. The platforms change, but business, human psychology, value, that has not changed in 1,000 years, and you already mastered that. We're going to trade your anxiety for audacity. But before you go, if you're finding value in this series and you want to be part of this movement, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. You know the drill. It helps us get this message to more people like us. But look, YouTube is just the surface, all right? If you want the real conversation, head on to Substack, where we have unfiltered deep dives into this lifestyle. That is where our community actually lives. And finally, if you're listening to this and you still feel a little hesitation, if you're asking, is this really for me? Am I ready for this shift? I have something for you. Go to the description below and click on the Silver Nomad Digital Assessment Tool. It's a quick way to get clear on where you stand and if this lifestyle fits your future. I will see you there. Ciao.